Alrighty. Welcome back to Lenz Comic Corner Classic Lesson and Classics. This is episode number 1909 and Doubleshot number 1803. I have two of these two trades. One is Superman, the other is The Flash. First up it is Superman, City of Tommorrow, with writing by Jeff Loeb, Joe Kelly, Mark Millar, and I think that's it. I believe that's it for the writers. Yeah, just these three. Now, this does collect issues from 4 different Superman comics. Yeah, did you know Superman at one point had 4 ongoing series? I mean, not like nowadays where he's got like 2 overall. It was one point he had 4. These are 4 comic series. Action Comics 760 to 763. Avengers of Superman 573 to 576. Superman Volume 2 issues 151 to 154. And Superman the Man of Steel issues 95 to 98. And Superman Y2K. It's not the Y2K bug. Yeah, these issues were released from late, like the very end of 1999 and early 2000. Basically, I think DT's idea of the whole City Tommorrow stuff, it's similar in style of trade stuff that we had for the Batman No Man's Land stuff. Well, No Man's Land and No Man's Land itself. This is actually the first of 2 volumes that have been released so far for this thing. Do I think it should be more? Yes. Mostly put basically, this is just a series of stories over the course of 4 different comic series. Like stuff with, there's lots of Lex Luthor in here. And it's almost like the people who wrote these issues, are apparently people who follow the Superman animated series mostly. And in case you're curious, though, is this the continuity where Lois and Clark are married? Yes. Yes, as a matter of fact, they are. And there's lots of stuff happening here. Like there's a Mrs. Superman pops up here, who just a stooge for somebody else. Lex appears a lot in these issues. Thing had started off and basically revealed that Lex had briefly owned Daily Planet, but then he sold it. Now, why did he buy Daily Planet? Because of an article that the Daily Planet published about pictures of his daughter, which he hated, so he basically bought them. And he says the reason why he kind of gives a reason why he sold the planet. Tax write-off. That's kind of basically what it does here. And you have Superman doing a lot of Superman, I think, like right, the Parasite. Like, if I'm right, Tivia would read this, if he had read this trade, he'd be like, wow, this is so freaking good. He would give this basically an amazing 5 out of 5 stars. Maybe I'll get this a 9 out of 10. It's a pretty good book. Yes. Yeah, team-ups with various superheroes. It just feels like a really fun Superman book. Of course, yes, it doesn't contain like issue number 1 of these comics. Oh no. It's basically comics published from the late, like the end of 1999 or the start of 2000. Alright, next up it is something very recent. We have the very first trade of the Infinite Frontier for The Flash. We have Flash, Volume 16, Wally West Returns. This collects The Flash, number 763 to 771, and The Flash 2020 Annual. Fun fact, in the case of 763, I actually thought this trade was going to skip this one because of, well, Jeremy Adams. Now, basically you have 4 different writers in this issue as well. In the case of Andy Lane and Ron Martz, they actually write the Endless Winter issues. I believe that was 764, I believe it was. And these are your artists. Kevin Sugg does the opening issue, but the next one's done by Andy Lane and Ron Martz. All the rest is done by Jeremy Adams. Here are your artists: Clayton Henry, Will Conrad, Sam Barsari, Brandon Pearson, Marco Sakagi, Ken McGuire, David LaFunny, Jack Herbert, Howard Porter, Brian Hitch. Yes, Brian Hitch did some Flash. Barrett Kudutsky, Max Renner, Scott Nolans, Tom Durank, Oscar Albert. The cover here is by Brandon Pearson and Michael Alia. Oh, I forgot to mention the artist who worked on this book right here. And is there a lot? Well, the cover is done by Emma Guinness and Cam Smith. Let's see. It doesn't list up the artist, per se, for some reason. Yeah, normally there's a trade that gives credit for the artist, but there isn't one for some strange reason. I don't know why. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say like Mike McCone. Let's see. They don't really. That's one thing I don't like about this one. They don't list off basically the artist. There's probably a good ton of them. Now, in the case of Flash, well, the first issue they have in here is basically 763, which features appearance by Axel Wilder, aka Trickster number 2. Yep, the successor to the original Trickster. I can tell it's him because of the outfit, because the original Trickster, he, well, was a jester, kind of, anyways. So, the only thing that he owns is stored now. It's basically a quick one-shot issue for the Endless Winter, which I've discussed before. And I think the issue is pretty good. If the very first story they have in here, Raft Endless Winter, which features Wally West taking over as, well, with extra 764, excuse me. I thought it was 763. Basically, first we have an appearance by Dr. Alchemy, yes, which I believe this may have been his first post-plasma appearance. Let me take a look at that, just to be sure. Because, to my knowledge, I don't think he ever actually appeared in the book throughout this continuity. No, I don't believe he has. I'm trying to think. Okay, so his first appearance post-Crisis, post-Flashpoint, was in Justice League Volume 2, number 30. Yes, that apparently was his very first appearance. Mm-hmm. You're thinking, really? Oh yeah, really. That apparently was his very first appearance. Which seems strange, given the fact it's Dr. Alchemy. Mm-hmm. I'm looking at him. I don't see him in here. Oh, there he is. Member of the Crime Syndicate. Yep, so you could say this is the first proper appearance of this character. Mm-hmm. Though he also appeared in issue Action Comics 1004. Yep. Which is part of the Bendis era. Yeah, he appeared just for one issue. Yeah, quick standalone issue. I think his most recent appearance after the storyline was actually in Superman/Batman World's Finest. Yep. Yeah, and Dr. Alchemy is pretty much in the way the main villain in these issues. Well, the first few issues where Flash is taken on for the story called With This Ring. Yep. And you have Kevin Schnook as the writer for these issues. Yeah, he actually, let's see, he is the writer from 762. Excuse me. Yeah, he takes over with 763. That's when he takes over the book. Briefly as the writer prior to him passing along to Jeremy Adams. He just does it for a quick 4-part storyline with this ring. Yep. And pretty much in the way, the final issue was published in November of 2020. It was actually 767. That was actually the Endless Winter issue. My apologies about that. And then we have the whole thing of Wally West returning, which basically collects like the first 3 issues of this storyline. At least the first 4 issues of it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, first few issues. I think Dr. Alchemy stuff was really cool. But you could definitely say this is his first more proper appearance. And yeah, and you have it where, like I said, basically fights him and then he's basically trapped in a statue. Yep, trapped in a statue. Then we have sort of like a few pages of Endless Winter, and then we continue with the Flash issue, which I have discussed before with the tie-in for Endless Winter. which is a very good crossover. Now, a lot of people point this out, though. This issue was completely pointless in the storyline itself. It really doesn't match the storyline at all. It's just some people might call it a filler. It kind of is. And then with 768, we finally move over to the Jeremy Adams issues of The Flash. Yes, so we have it where Barry basically is, the story is called Blink of an Eye, and this is a 4-part story arc. Yeah, and basically with these issues, Wally is back in his Flash costume he had first show up in the pages of Titans. Yes, Dan Abnett and Lenny run, the end of Dan Abnett run. And we also get appearance here by Ocean Master. Yes, Ocean Master. Not really mention anything at all. And mostly put basically just the very first story arc. And then we have where guest appearance by Max Mercury. Wallace, I mentioned that powers disappear. The whole thing about this storyline is investigating the Speed Force of like what the heck is wrong with it. Yeah, that's simply put. Of course, the Savage Speed Force in here. And of course, appearance by Impulse. Yes, Impulse. Bart Allen is in the storyline here, which is really cool. Bart Allen, Barry Allen's grandson from the future, and Wally West's second cousin. Yep. I gotta say, for the first few issues of this run, of course, the appearances by, of all people, Jay Garrick. Because, well, my only guess is the reason why Jeremy Adams included him in here as basically sort of a supporting character in these issues, and this is my personal theory, because he was basically a recurring character in the Wally West issues of The Flash. Basically, I think when it was either Mark Waid or Jeff Johns on the book, and then we have to take over. And we have basically like a going to the multiverse, like running to the Superman TV show, which is kind of weird. But yeah, this opening story is just really good, pure fun, and if you're a Flash fan, you would love this book. It is so good. Yeah, maybe not been Josh Williams anymore, because he did this book for a long freaking time. He did this book for 4 years and put out a ton of comic books in that period of time. Yes, 4 years, 2 issues a month. And do you know how many issues he put out? You really want to know? He put out, 4 times 12. That's 48. Okay, what's 48 times 2? Let's see. Let's answer that question for you. Means he put out almost 100 issues in just 4 years. The guy clearly loved doing that book, and now we have a brand new. It's in the case of Kevin Smuck, when he took over the book, it's like he was there just to continue what was basically established by Josh Williamson. And you read these issues, and like you're reading Josh Williamson, despite the fact it's a completely different writer, because basically, yeah, Kevin Smuck, the guy who's the writer of this issues. Now, I personally did not really heard of this guy before. Now, in case you're curious, though, did this guy do any other books besides The Flash? You might ask. Shouldn't. He did Batman 80-Page Giant 2010. He did that one. Excuse me. He did Joker to Simon Clayface and a Robot Chicken issue. That's it. Yeah, not much, but these issues are really good. Nothing really bad. Just I actually really enjoy Dr Alchemy issues. Dr Alchemy is a really good Flash villain. Now, my favorite Flash villain is Reverse Flash. I would say Dr. Alchemy is definitely up there as my top 5 because he's just a really cool villain. He uses basically science about the Flash, which is really cool. And I think it was really nice, basically, for the last Barry story before he switched over to Wally West, that he had him take on Dr. Alchemy for the first time in this continuity. Because if you think about it, he's never actually fought Dr. Alchemy in this continuity before. And now he has. Done. And now, basically, you just have Wally West. Now, in the case of Jeremy Adams issues, it seems as though he took a lot of inspiration from the Mark Waid and Jeff Johns stuff with these issues. because you have Impulse, you have Jay Garrick, you have Max Mercury. Of course, you have Wallace West, obviously, who is basically a Robin Diddy character anyways. But it just feels as though that these writers take inspiration from classic Flash, like the good Flash stuff, which is really good. And actually, my friend Tivy would definitely agree with that. I mean, he's been reviewing every issue of this whole run. I mean, it's one book that's been consistently been good. Like, if you think about it, Flash has never... The only kind of run that's been mixedly received is probably the Venditti run. But aside from that, the book has been good. Like, it's been good for over a decade. It's been good even longer than that. Like, if you think about it, there's no really bad Flash run ever in the history of Flash series. He's never had a bad issue come out ever that I can think of. I read all the Flash comics, so... Excuse me. Well, I didn't read the Flash comics, the series Flash comics, the one number comes from. I've read not the entire. I've only read I read the opening issue, and I read the Flash story from the final issue of the series. But that's been pretty much it for Flash comics. But in the case that we have Barry Allen or Wally West, there's no bad comic book. They're always classic, really good writers who clearly know what they do when it comes to Flash. Flash is maybe kind of a weird character, but he's got cool villains and great stories. And if you're a fan of the Barry Allen or the Wally West Flash, I do recommend checking this out because it is really good. I give this book a 10 out of 10. My friend Tivia would definitely agree with that rating. Yes, definitely. Because I know he's reviewing the issues individually. I don't know if he's reviewed the trades or not. I mean, I know he's reviewed trades for other series. But this one, I don't remember if he has or not. Tivia, if you actually review these issues, I think read the individual issues themselves, but have you the trades for Flash? If you have, please comment below. I would love to actually see those videos and how you feel about the Flash issues, okay? So yeah, that's it for particular review. Next up is Overlord, and then it's back to Kamen Rider, okay? Next video. Bye.